Hi teachers and students who are studying Swallow the Air. I'm going to just talk you through this interactive map that I've made that you can actually access on my website, which I'll show you at the end. You just click a couple of links and you can get a free download to the address at the top of the screen here. So let's zoom in. We've got a really big snapshot here of just how far May Gibson, the protagonist in Swallow the Air, travels on her journey. When I show this to students, they're usually pretty blown away when they take in just how far she travels up to Darwin and back with hitchhiking. So of course I'm going to click on this little one. The little symbol of the turtle symbolizes her beginning and of course her ending place as well. She finishes back up at Paradise Parade at the end of the novel. So each interactive thing you can click on has a little bit of a blurb about why it's significant in the novel, even sometimes with quotes. She starts at Paradise Parade at a location called Bulai Beach. I'll just zoom in there for us. And a lot of these locations are, of course, real. I mean, most of the novel is set in real locations. This is the beach where May grew up. So we know that she hitchhikes then when she leaves after Mum's suicide and, of course, the sexual assault. She decides to get out of there entirely, and I'll click here. She goes all the way up to Darwin to a fictitious place called Palm Creek Rodeo. She hitchhikes all that way only to stay for what appears to be a few hours, where she sees some bare-knuckle fighting and is reminded of her violent father, and decides, no, this is not for me. I don't want to see him. I don't want to meet him. She returns all the way back down to New South Wales, where I'm going to skip here, she is at Belmore Park. And I think I've actually followed the order of the novel. So the reason Goulburn would be there is that in the chapter titled Cloud Busting, May recalls some beautiful stories her mum used to tell her about growing up in Goulburn. And June, of course, is May's mother. She recalls that some of her brothers and sisters were put into missions, and her mum was sent to Goulburn from the river to live in flats. This is a really beautiful chapter because she talks about saving up money to purchase a set of saucepans that become really a symbol of friendship and determination and pride for May's grandmother, Alice. Back to May, she rocks up at the block in Redfern, although I should skip here, sorry. She's briefly homeless, staying at a place called Belmore Park in Sydney. Let's zoom in here. So she goes from really small town locations to suddenly finding herself homeless in Sydney. She meets Joyce, who takes her in to the Aboriginal community at Redfern. So she stays here for quite some time. She even gets a job, and she stays with Joyce. Culturally significant location, so do a little reading on that if you haven't done already. She then does a night in jail there where she's visited by Windradine, a frontier wars warrior who tells her to follow the leatherback turtle. During her stay in Sydney, she hangs out with a guy called Johnny, who is just a lovely friend to her, and he and her daydream about their youth connecting with country and fishing and being free at the beach. His dreams are of Weyburn, which is Thursday Island. So if I just zoom out here, right up from North Queensland here. So they don't travel there, but this is where Johnny's father grew up, and Johnny dreams of this place. So it is a significant location that's mentioned in the book. We'll travel right back down here. When she leaves Sydney, she heads to Lake Cowell. No, she goes to Uabalong. That's right. So she hitchhikes to Lake Cowell, where she meets a person called Isabel or Izzy, and she spends her time, Izzy does, between the Tent Embassy in Canberra, which is a significant location for activism. She spends her time between the Tent Embassy and Lake Cowell, protesting against mining. Izzy gives her the advice to follow the Billa snake to Uabalong, which is the Lachlan River. May travels for about 4 days along the river and she catches a fish with her hoodie. She's really not equipped to live off the land on her own, but it's a bit of a transformative experience for her as she heads closer and closer to Lake Cargelligo, I think is how you say it. If I'm wrong, sorry. And she gets dropped off at a white house out here in her search for family. So she finds Percy Gibson, who's the spitting image of her mum, and that's a really awkward and quite awful exchange because he grills her, he's condescending, he's sarcastic, and he is even quite racist himself, asking, "Did you come here for money?" When she realizes that this is not what she wanted it to be, May returns home at the end of the book. She hitchhikes back to Paradise Parade where she began, finishing with some beautiful quotes at the end of the novel, now that she knows what the word really means, what home really means. She returns to Auntie and Billy, and we have the image of their same house at Bulai Beach, but we're left with an image of tractors digging up the area. So we know that it's changing, but if I just zoom out and we take in May's entire journey, it's been one of transformation, it's been one of connecting with culture, and we leave May at the end of the book at the same place she started, but I suppose she's closer to healing and being able to confront her pretty traumatic past. So good luck with your studies. You can click around and visit each location on this website. Just click on my store here where you can access this free download. And if this is helpful to you, then please leave me a comment, give me a like, and good luck with your studies.